Hello and welcome to the fake money assignment. Basically what we're doing is we're going to create some fake Monopoly money style stuff, and we're going to use Microsoft Publisher. So I have a new window of Publisher open here, and the first thing I'm going to do is change the page size to 4 inches by 2 inches. So to do that, I'm going to go to Page Design, and then I'm going to go to Size, and I'm going to choose Create New Page Size, because I want it to be a different thing than what they had in the presets. We're actually going to name this money, and the width is going to be 4 inches, the height is going to be 2 inches. We're going to have it set up to do multiple pages per sheet. You want to have some target margins. So here's how this works. The margin guides are the margins on the actual bill, so it's like per piece. You can see how those change when I change that. Over here under options, these margins are actually going to be the margins on the piece of printed paper. So it's going to print 10 bills a page here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, I think, about 1/4 inch of margin on, well, okay, that was vertical gap, not margin. I don't actually need a gap because we're not gonna, if you're printing all the way to the edge of your piece, like if you say you were doing postcards and you wanted to have color that came right up to the edge, you need to put a gap in there when you printed it so that you can actually cut it twice and have the trim color work, and it's called a bleed. But we're not doing that here, so that's okay. So I've got that there, and then okay. And now what it's going to do is it's going to resize my piece of paper, and so now instead of having an 8.5 by 11 sheet, I've got a 2 inch by 4 inch sheet. And so that will let me then create something on here. I just create one of them. Whereas if we did this like in Word, we'd have to copy and paste each one of them. Then what happens, say I went and I typed just something on here, and then if you go to the print preview here, you can see it automatically tiles that on the piece of paper. So if you're printing multiple things per page, Publisher is so much the way to go, just because it saves you all of that headache. So alright, so our next step is we're going to anchor this bill here with a picture. So I'm going to go to Insert, Pictures, and I'm going to pull up my OneDrive app here, go to Microsoft Office as a tool, and it's going to be this bank pic. So you all should be able to access that through OneDrive. And then I'm going to actually hold down the Control key and drag on the corners, and that'll keep it square rather than being able to squish it. And that works in any form of Office. So I want this to be right square in the middle. So to do that, I'm going to set a guide. So to set a guide, I have rulers showing here. If you don't have the rulers showing, you can go to the View ribbon and just check the box for rulers, and they'll show up right there. So that's just under the View ribbon. I'm just going to drag from the rulers. So I clicked right on the ruler, and I'm going to drag over to the center. And because this is a 4 inch piece of paper, you can see that 0 is right at this edge of this paper, and 4 is right here. Sometimes you have to pay attention because, like, if you're inside of a text box, it changes the rulers a little bit, especially like in Word and stuff. It'll do that differently. But so now I've got a snap guide right at 2, and then I want it to be, maybe let's make it 3/4 of the height. So out of a 2 inch document, I want it to be right about, that's about 1/3 down from the top. There's another way that you can do this if you're really a numbers person. I tend to be a bit of a numbers guy sometimes. And what we're going to do, if I can remember where it is we're going to view the guides. this is the part of the show where we can turn them on and off there, but there's a place to actually set them. Okay, hang on. Okay, I went and found it. It's under Page Design, and then under Guides. So what you do is you'll just go to the Page Design ribbon, go to Guides. This will give you a bunch of default guides that you can do. I'm not really going to use any of the default ones, but I'm going to go to Ruler Guides here. This will let you set exactly the horizontal and the vertical. Man, and I nailed that. 0.665 is going to be exactly 1/3 of 2. And then vertical is right at 2, so it assumed pretty good where it wanted to go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that so that's snapping to the bottom there, and I'm going to drag it over till it snaps in the middle. And then once again, just going to scale it down till it matches there. Now you can see it kind of highlighted all of the guides there, so you can see it snapping the 3 guides. Let me show you that again. As you see, as I move it in, it kind of highlights the guides, and so it snaps to guides. You can turn that on and off through the Page Design here with Align to Guides and Objects. You'll also see now, like if I were to insert a text box just randomly up here, as I move it along, it snaps to the guide. But then you can also see the little red or kind of magneta line that it's drawing there, and that's snapping it to the picture there. And so you can see those as you're aligning stuff to other objects. So if I wanted to make this the same width, I'd be able to set it so that it matched up with the magneta guide on both sides there. So, but I don't want that there right now. Alright, so we got our little money symbol, and we got a couple of guides there. And so what we're gonna do next is put some money value things on here, some numbers. And you probably remember, because I'm going to tell you this on Monday, that the main difference between Publisher and Word is that you don't have a default text flow. Or in another word, if you want to type anything in a Publisher document, you have to insert a text box first. I can't just, without a text box, just double click here and start typing. It doesn't work. You get this message that says, you can only type into a text box table in certain shapes. For more information, press F1, which of course will bring up the help menu. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a text box, and I'm going to put this, and really those margins are too big for this, so I'm going to change the margins a little bit. I'm going to go into Page Design and then go to Margins here, and you can see it's set to narrow, which is 0.25. I'm going to do custom margins. You guys should know how to do this already because we already did it. And I'm going to go, let's go 1/10 of an inch. I think that'll look a little bit better, because really our document's only 2x4. So I'm just going to snap this up into those margins. Again, you can snap to margins, which are the little blue lines, to grid lines, which are a little bit greener, and then to objects, which are the little magneta ones. So when you're working in a Publisher document, getting your alignment right is so much easier than when you're working in Word. And alignment is a really big part of how you can get your documents looking nice. So let's make this a $500 bill. And basically I want it to be big in one corner and small in the other one. Oh, default fonts. I'm not a big fan of the default Office fonts. They're nice, but basically I like cool fonts. So Myriad is one of my favorite. Lucinda is pretty good. There's some other ones. I'm not even sure if I have my Myriad installed on here, so we might just grab something cool like Rockwell. I'm going to make that pretty big, because obviously that's how you tell how much money it's worth. So we have 500 there. Actually, That might even want to be a little bit bigger. Cool thing with Publisher, again, you can have a little bit more control over the text sizes. So, like I wanted to make it 28.4, it'll do that. If I were trying to do that in Word, let's see, okay. And I wanted to size that to 28.4. It's not a valid number. It won't let you do it. Which is one of the definitely cool things about Publisher. So, it'll give you very, very precise control, and that's just what Publisher is. So, honestly, 30 would probably be fine. This isn't all that picky. And 30 will make, your math easier. I like doing things mathematically when I'm designing something, so like this is going to be half the size of that one there. Okay, so we've got some text box tools. Let's say I wanted to actually put this text, that text box is a little bit bigger because I just made the font smaller. But let's say I wanted to put it in the bottom left-hand corner. Well, Publisher will do that automatically. You just go into text box tools, and then you've got this little grid here of alignment, and I just want to align to the bottom left. I'm just going to hit that button, and again, this was just in the format ribbon under text box tools. It's that little purple thing there. And then as I copy this around, it's got some text wrapping going on here too. We'll play with that in a minute. And I can just hit whatever corner I want it to be in. I don't have to mess with it, making it look pretty or whatever it's doing, by moving the box around. Because otherwise, if I was going to try to copy it like this and make it work right, I'd have to put it up here and then, drag it around and try to get it, how exactly is that, does that line up? Well, they make it a lot easier than that. So I can, just snap to grid. Come on, snap. There we go. And this guy's snap to grid. So that'll automatically, make it all even out for you. Again, I just changed the size on that because I just saw my margin changed. And I want those to line up. These will have text wrapping going on. We talked about text wrap in Word already, but basically I don't want any of this to wrap anything. So I'm just gonna highlight select the whole page. Just click and drag over the page to select. And then I'm going to go to wrap text and none. So now if I take an object like this picture and I push it into that $sign there, it's not going to do anything. Whereas if I do have wrap text on here, like if I had it square, for example, and I move that picture up and kind of butt it into that $sign, it might have to actually be on both of them or something here. Okay, that example failed. It was doing it a minute ago. Alright, let me undo because I don't know what I did. I'm just Control-Z here, folks. There we go. Okay. So now, still not doing it. Oh well. Well, it was all messed up. If you remembered seeing a red box over something, take my word for it. But we're just going to set that to none. So what we're going to do next, get that lined back up again, is add a little more stuff. I mean, you can kind of see it's sort of taking up the shape of the bill here, but I'm going to add a little bit more to this to make it actually look like a real bill. Well, we don't want to make it look like a real bill, but maybe a real fake bill. How's that sound? I'm going to insert a shape. Just go to insert and then shapes, and then I'm going to see if I can grab a rounded rectangle here, one of my favorite shapes, and I'm just going to drag it across the bottom here. Now this automatically has a bunch of cool shapes and stuff, and I'm just going to center that by dragging it till it's snapped with that center grid. With the rounded rectangle, you can actually change the rounding on it based on this little yellow diamond thing here. So you can make it square or more round. however you prefer it. And again, you've got all these different shape colors and things, so you know, feel free to mess around with however you want. Basically, I just want a black one, and that line's a little bit heavy for me. To change effects like that, what you can do is you can just go to like shape outline, and then I'm just going to change the weight, and we're going to turn it down to, you know, 1 point is probably plenty for this, because I actually want to type inside that. And so you know what? I'm really going to use a text box for this. This is a shape, so it does not let you type in it. However, the cool thing is I can draw a text box here, and then go to Drawing Tools, and I can give it that same rounded rectangle just by going to Change Shape. So that's really cool, because normally text boxes are going to be square, but if you wanted to create an oval text box, I just messed that up by clicking that. You know, you can create all kinds of wacky. How'd you like to have a heart text box? I mean, that's just weird, but yeah. So that's some of the things you can do. Like I said, rounded rectangles, one of my favorites, just because it gives it a nice soft edge. Again, I really only want that to be 1 point, so I'm going to go to, I'm in Drawing Tools under the Format ribbon. I'm going to go to Shape Outline and then change the weight to 1 point. And so that just made a text box look the same as this shape that I drew. I'm going to delete the shape, keep the text box, let's center that. And then in here, let's see what font we're at. We're in Calibri again. We're going to change that in a minute. And this is going to be $500 fake dollars. So I'm going to go ahead and center that. I want that to be completely centered inside the box, so I'm going to just hit that, except that doesn't really look centered to me. So probably what I'm going to do is just see if I can't get that to monkey around somewhere in the center there. There we go. That actually looks pretty good. I'm going to move that up a little bit so you can see kind of the thing there again. And I'm going to break my third mark there. That looks about right, maybe. Yeah. Okay. And then now let's add some other stuff. Okay, I need a little inspiration here. Let's do let's see what we should do here. Okay, I'm back from looking at some real money again. Ditching the Illuminati references, I did get some slight inspiration. We're going to do a little bit of some coloring on here. We're going to do a little bit of inversion. I'm going to adjust that up just a little bit. I'm looking across there. If I snap a guide, it's not actually, it wasn't actually matching the top of it before. That's a little bit better there. So I just changed that. That's just because the interior margin of this text box is off. Did you know text boxes have margins? If I go to Text Box Tools and then Format, there's actually a margin right on the text box, so you can change that. It has to do with line spacing and stuff, and so it's all complicated, but yeah. So I'll just drag that guide back up to the ruler there, and it disappears. So guides are real easy to drag and drop and pull and drop and stuff. So we're gonna throw a shape in here. It's just gonna be a regular rectangle. So I just went to Insert and then Shapes, and then clicked on this Draw Rectangle button, and we're gonna go and we're gonna draw a rectangle across the top here, and I'm gonna change this to a nice solid fill with no outline, and let's actually make it a little bit of a... We should make it like a dark gray, maybe. And maybe I'll just put a... Maybe we'll put a black line at the bottom of that or something. Okay, so now what you can see, because I just did this, is that there's a bunch of different layers here. Right now this box I just created is on top by virtue of I just created it. So, but I'm going to send that back so we can see the top of the bank here and the dollars in the corner. And basically what I'm just going to do is I'm under drawing tools and format here. I believe you can also get to this right from the home. And I'm just going to go send backward. And so each time I click send backward, you can see something new popping in front of it. And basically it's shuffling which piece of paper is on top. So if you had a one of those old projector transparencies, it's just like a clear piece of plastic paper, and you had written on that. That basically is what it is. So it's just shuffling something like a projector transparency. I probably just dated myself, but hey, that's okay. Let's make that a little darker. And maybe not quite so big. Okay. We're going to do something really cool here now. See how it's kind of cutting off that 500? Well, what I want to do is I'm actually going to copy this, and I'm going to make a copy of that. So I've got two of these. I'm going to put one right on top of the other. The one I got selected, I'm going to send all the way to the back because I want it to be behind this gray thing. So I'm going to click send backward and then send to back, and that'll just move it all the way to the back. Now if I click on this, so I just clicked off in some white space, and I clicked on it again. Now I should have the one that's on the top because it won't see that the object underneath it unless I move it. So if I move that a little bit, you can see there's the bottom of one there, but you can't see the top of it. I'm just going to undo to move that back, and I'm going to go ahead and make this white. So let's just change home, text color, white. So now, got this white thing, and again, basically what I'm trying to do is get it to be white on top of the box and black underneath it. So, probably, hang on, I gotta figure out how to do this again. Okay, I went and figured out how to do it, and then we're back. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to change the line height on this so I can kind of cut off the bottom of those letters. And basically what I want to do is go to the paragraph styles. So I'm going to double click in the text box to select the white text that's on top. And then we're going to go to this little paragraph settings dialog box button. Otherwise known as that thing. And when we go in there, I'm just going to change the space between lines to about 0.9. This is going to kind of mess up my spacing and stuff, but what it's going to do is let me make this box smaller, because before it wasn't letting me do that. So I can now cut off the top of these letters, kind of wherever I want to. And I'm just going to move those down until they kind of match. And then what you can see is kind of the effect of having the dollars cut in half. Change that just a little bit so that it meets right in the middle. There we go. This is not actually part of your assignment, in case you're wondering. This is just me playing around with stuff. You do whatever you like to make it cool. Doesn't necessarily have to be this complicated. I'm going to actually change that to full black. I am going to change the picture here. I'm going to recolor it to be black. Or maybe. I want to... Oh, here we go. Yeah. Let's do that. That one looks right. And this is just changing the brightness and contrast on that picture. But that goes better with my dollar sign that's cut in half. Now I also have some dollar numbers over here that need to be white, and those are going to be like so. Let's do some hieroglyphy like stuff in the background here. Well, not hieroglyphs per se, but maybe like some signatures. So let's pick a nice script font. This will be the signature. So this guy will be the Secretary of the Treasury. I'm just going to center that like that. Let's put a new text box right underneath that. Okay, I also want to show you guys something that Publisher will do that's really helpful. We may look at this in a later date, but basically I just want to show you right now. This is like if you're doing a book or something and you've got a section of text that's really, really long and it wants to, you know, overlap multiple text boxes. So like if I wanted to overlap this text that says Secretary of the Treasury, it shows up in red because it won't show in that particular text box, and then it's just got this little 3-dot button there. So if I want to, I can click on that little 3-dot button and then just click over here and it'll actually create a new text box for me. That created a rather big text box. I probably didn't need one that big. But now the cool thing is, if I can spell treasury right. Oh, and then it wants to drop it into the next box again because it's smaller. Now if I make this box bigger, oh come on, there we go. It wraps over there, and this text box is still linked up, but it becomes empty. So basically, I'm just going to delete that one now and just change this smaller. So we may take a look more at that later, but for now, probably not. Let's change that to a nice font. Let's go Lucinda. Oh, come on. This is my text box margins again. I'm just going to change the margins to none, and then I can move it wherever I want. Alright, I'm just going to copy this and we'll paste it on the other side. You can see I'm using those Magneto lines to line it up there, as well as the margin on the outside. And who should this be? We'll have Jane Smith be the who shall she be? She'll be the she'll be the president of the mint. And just center that real quick. Except I want it centered on the top because I want it to be near the signature. Yeah, here we have a little bit cool stuff. Here's some more Calibri. I'm going to get rid of that Calibri font. At the top of your fonts box, if you're using, I think it does this in 2010 and 2013. I'm not sure if it does it in 2007, but you'll have recently used fonts. So these are basically the fonts that I'm using in this document. I'm just going to change that to match my Rockwell. Except I don't really want it to be condensed. So let's see if we've got just standard Rockwell. There we go. And make that just a little bit smaller. Yeah, and that's shaping up pretty good. I think that's probably going to be this assignment. So thanks for watching. Alright, this is just a quick appendix to show you how to export to a PDF. We're going to go to the File menu, and then we're going to go to Export, and then I'm just going to go Create PDF XPS. I'm going to save this in my OneDrive, because you all should be using the desktop app, because it's really way better than uploading everything online. Microsoft Office is a tool. I actually already have a file here saved, prior version of this, and I'm just going to hit publish, and you won't get that, but yeah, I want to overwrite that. Then it creates this PDF here. It messed with my money dollars a little bit, cool thing, but normally you just play with that and get it to work. It's quite possible. So so that's that, and you can see this would cut right down the middle. Maybe I'll print some of these off and bring them in. That'd be cool. And what we're going to do is basically then upload this to OneDrive, which you all should know how to do. Because I saved it in the folder, it's automatically going to go up there already. And that would be the end of your assignment. I'm just going to share a couple more things from the export menu here. You can create like HTML documents to put on a website or something, but normally don't create anything HTML in anything Microsoft Office because it's just complete junk. If you're gonna code a website, do it with like WordPress or something like that. It's way better. But you can also save for a commercial printer or something like that. Normally, to send it to my commercial printer, I just go to create PDF, and that works for it. But you can also save it with a PDF and a publisher file. So if they like it that way, you can use that. So lots of options for exporting. They've got all kinds of different quality levels and stuff. So pretty cool.